The Governor of the State of Connecticut, Governor Daniel Malloy.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Great. Thank you. It's very nice to be with you. Let me say how pleased I am to be with you at the Kennedy Center. I know that in 2011 you celebrated your 60th anniversary, so I wasn't here then, but I get to celebrate with you the 62nd, I guess, is the way to look at it. I have long known of the work of the center and very much appreciated it. And my own sister, my only sister out of the 8 of us, serves on the board of a similar organization that serves the needs of Stamford, the community in which I grew up and was raised. I have a special appreciation for the work that's being done here with assistance to over 2,000 families or individuals and their families per year, helping people reach the highest level of achievement that they are personally capable of, and in many cases linking folks to the thing that really in so many ways may be the most important for those who are able to work, a job. Giving the support and training necessary to allow that to happen. Also giving that sense of camaraderie and spirit that comes from being at and working with trained professionals in a building or in a facility that meets the needs of those individuals. Sometimes I'm asked why I talk about this relationship between state government and the not-for-profit providers. Simply put, we could not do, as a state government, the work that you're doing and supporting in this effort. We couldn't do it as well. We couldn't do it as efficiently. And quite frankly, I don't think we could do it as compassionately as the Kennedy Center has been able to achieve in its 62 years of existence. I have commented and will continue to comment on the fact that I don't think the state has been a particularly good partner. For a number of years, in good years, we ignored the needs of our not-for-profit providers. That's why one of the, and community providers, that's why one of the first things I did was to create a liaison position in my cabinet for an individual to interface directly with the community of providers. And I'll give you a couple of things that we're working on just to make life easier for the organizations like the Kennedy Center. The state of Connecticut can have multiple contracts with organizations such as the Kennedy Center. Some cases as many as 20 or 25 contracts. Each one individually drafted, having its own requirements, and quite frankly requiring a center such as the Kennedy Center to spend really unexcusable amounts of money we're requiring to be spent on legal work or using up the hours of volunteers. One of the things that we've been able to accomplish in a relatively short period of time is to actually combine those contracts on multiple service levels under multiple payment sources to make it easier for places like the Kennedy Center to do their job. We need to do more of that, and I think we are in fact doing more of it, working with organizations such as this. For instance, we are undertaking a strategic plan to rebalance long-term services and supports. There is a certain reality that many of your clients will require ongoing services from state government as well as agencies such as this, and the state has not really thought about this in a holistic way, has not planned for a future. And has not figured out, quite frankly, how to be a better partner. So we are undertaking that as we speak to make sure that we actually remove roadblocks to this center doing the great job it can do in a cost-effective way. We have engaged in an autism feasibility study, looking at what we need to do as we look at a particular malady, autism, and we think about how we're going to approach that in a society where the numbers of people diagnosed with autism have risen rapidly over the last few years, with government doing precious little to prepare for the numbers of folks who will require our services for a normal lifespan. So we may have thought about it in schools and school systems on how we take care of people from pre-K through 12th grade. We may have thought about it with respect to those who can get training and have a job. But what we haven't really thought through completely is what does a full 50, 60, 70, or 80 years of life look like in a society where we know we have increasing numbers. Connecticut, you can be proud, is a state that is now leading in that direction as a result of our undertaking that work and doing it on a continuing basis. As referenced in the introduction, we have created a nonprofit bond pool, actually one of several bond pools to help us address the needs of agencies like this. It was an idea, quite frankly, I had. It came from working as mayor in the city of Stamford for 14 years and understanding the needs and the sacrifices that centers such as the Kennedy Center have been required to make. For instance, deferring maintenance. For instance, in not putting in a more efficient and lower cost over time boiler in a building, or heating system, or air conditioning system. You defer the expense because it's too much up front, recognizing that you're in essence paying for that on a month-by-month basis from your bottom line. It doesn't make sense. So what we have moved Connecticut in the direction of is establishing a pool for our not-for-profit community to come forward with proposals on how to address their bottom line by accessing those bonding dollars. And this, I believe, will ultimately be an ongoing pool of dollars because it simply makes too much sense. Let's replace those inefficient windows. Let's help agencies save money and allow them to spend it on the services that they actually want to and are very good at providing. We've created a Connecticut Council on Developmental Disabilities, and I did that by executive order. The mission is to promote self-determination, independence, productivity, integration, and inclusion in all facets of community life for people with developmental disabilities. Now, this is something about state government as well. Prior to my becoming governor, the state of Connecticut's approach to social services was siloed. Although we had a number of agencies that provided some level of care and assistance. And in fact, as many of your clients might be receiving services from 3, 4, or 5 of those departments, we weren't doing it in state government on a unified basis. And we needed to move in the direction where all of our commissioners and all of the employees of those departments are actually working in tandem. We're now doing that. In fact, in my own office, on a monthly basis, I sit down with a cluster of commissioners from those various agencies to have discussions about how we work together and how we have that common approach. That did not exist 20 months ago and is leading to efficiencies and cross-silo work habits that I truly believe are improving the lives of the citizenry that we are charged with serving. All of which is to say that we need to do a better job in state government in recognizing the good work of the not-for-profit and community providers, making assets available to them whenever we can, increasing appropriately the levels of funding to allow them to meet the needs of the individuals they currently serve, with a full expectation that many of these agencies will be required to serve even more individuals in the future as our lifespans are extended and as we start to take in more of the children who we are diagnosing at an earlier age. As referenced, I do talk about the fact that I grew up with serious physical and processing disorders. I tell this story frequently because it's an important story to tell to put things in perspective. When I was born, I was spastic and was for a period of time after that. Didn't overcome my physical disabilities until about the 8th grade after years of therapy to do that. With respect to my dyslexia and other processing disorders, you don't actually overcome those. They stay with you. I still don't deal in written language. I don't take the word and write it myself or do it on a computer. I actually have a classmate here from West Hill High School where I went. She'd probably tell you I wasn't too bright at the time. I know. But it took years to overcome that. When I went away to college, when I finally achieved some level of success late in my high school career, I was the first person admitted to Boston College, taking into consideration a learning disability. And when I did the same thing at the law school 4 years later, I was that first person. And when I took the bar exam in New York and Massachusetts in the summer of 1980, I was the first person allowed to take the essay portions of those exams orally who wasn't otherwise blind. Because I was allowed to dictate my answers to a third party, and then of course they were read just like anyone else's answers would be read on those exams. I tell you that because my commitment to these issues and to people with varying degrees of disabilities comes from that, and it comes from one other thing. I grew up in a family, the youngest of 8 children, as I described, with learning and physical disabilities. But my mother saw something in me and didn't accept the pronouncements or diagnosis of the teachers or psychologists or social workers that I would go and see or be analyzed from when they thought as late as the 4th grade that I would not be able to do normal schoolwork. She said to me, almost every day that the two of us shared this earth, and I spoke to my mother, she said to me, "Daniel, you have an obligation to leave this world a better place for your having lived in it." I took that to heart. I also took to heart the days that my mother would decide that I should do something for the community and would literally drive me to nursing homes and say, "Get out of the car and go visit somebody and make their day a little brighter." And I did that as well. In fact, I can say to you that much of what I've done in my life, whether it was as a prosecutor in New York City, coming home to Stanford and practicing law and taking on a pro bono client, the Villa Maria School in Stanford, to help it do its job of educating children with learning disabilities, to serving in local government in Stanford, to becoming mayor, and now having the high honor and privilege of being governor of the state of Connecticut. What drives me the most, in good days and bad, and I've had a lot of bad days over the last couple of years, including the episode that we went through as a state on December 14th. What drives me is that message, making the world a better place for our having lived in it. In this room, I am surrounded by individuals, volunteers and professionals who have dedicated their lives to doing just that. So it's with a high honor that I say thank you for what you're doing. Keep up the good work, and Godspeed in all you do. Thank you.
Governor Malloy, thank you very much for your wonderful words of encouragement and your very thoughtful and kind words regarding the people that are here in this room tonight and our organization. We're delighted to present you with an award tonight. It's the Kennedy Center's Vision Award. It's an award that, in fact, is not given on an annual basis. It's presented only when an individual has been identified who has met the criteria of being a leader whose vision elevates the human consciousness to believe in the potential of all people. We're extremely pleased to present this esteemed award tonight to an individual who has indeed placed a strong emphasis on elevating the human consciousness of citizens throughout Connecticut and well beyond, to believe in the potential of all people, and most especially, to believe in the potential of people with disabilities. As Governor Malloy had mentioned, growing up, he worked hard to overcome learning and physical disabilities. eventually gaining the skills he needed to graduate magna cum laude, you didn't mention that, from Boston College, and continuing on to receive his Juris Doctorate from the Boston College Law School. Became the mayor of Stamford in 1995 and served 14 years there. He also didn't mention that Stamford became one of the country's top 10 most livable cities, according to Forbes magazine, while our governor was mayor of Stamford. On November 2nd, 2010, our governor was elected as the 88th governor of the state of Connecticut. And from that date to the present, he has continued to clearly articulate, as you heard tonight, his personal commitment to and support of people with disabilities. The Kennedy Center is extremely proud to present the 2013 Vision Award to Governor Daniel Malloy.
Thank you very much. It's very nice. If I had known I was going to get an award, I would have come 2 years ago. No, I couldn't. Again, I want to say thank you. I know that there are a number of individuals who are being honored tonight, and I've got to get to another event. But I want to say to the individuals being honored, congratulations. What you're doing, and in some cases what you've overcome to do that is far more important than anything that I've accomplished. So thank you to all of you. God bless you. Thank you.